Welcome to Paddock Talk, guys, where I bring you the latest news with my views. As we head to Zandvoort, finally the racing is back. Let's take a look. The news over the summer break has been a little bit slow, hasn't it? And we head into Zandvoort and the things have picked up a little bit. But the big one heading into the weekend, Bono, Mr. Hammer Time, is remaining with Mercedes. He's not joining Lewis Hamilton in his move to Ferrari. It was touted for quite a long time, but he's been given a promotion to head of race engineering for 2025. He'll remain Lewis's race engineer all the way through this season, up until the end of the season, in which case he'll then move up and won't be the team race engineer for either Russell or the new driver who's yet to be announced at Mercedes. So yeah, we'll finally see the breakup between Lewis and Bono. They've been together for an awfully long time. I think the only time they split was during the Rosberg championship season, wasn't it, where Rosberg kind of wanted him on his side of the garage and they had a bit of a move around. And well, he's been really good with Lewis, hasn't he, over the time, and we'll remember and miss him, Mr. Hammer Time, over the call at Ferrari. So we'll have a new race engineer, all new for Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari next year, so it'll be interesting to see how that works for Lewis. The next big one, it's been murmuring and simmering over the summer break, hasn't it? This big rumour about Red Bull getting caught out with a brake system. Have they been called Red Bull cheats again and all this palaver? Are they being caught out, or are we just blowing in the wind with this one? Well, there's two things to be sure about here. The rules around the whole braking system have changed now, and then the resulting of that we've seen around the same time is that we've seen the decline in Red Bull and how they've worked as a team, or how quick they've been, and is it more to do with this whole braking thing being outlawed? It didn't help because we've also had Max Verstappen complaining about the braking issue and brake turning on braking that he's been complaining about more so over Hungary. We also had that one side of the brake exploding in Australia. So a couple of things circumstantial linking together with this whole change in the rules. I wouldn't say it's cheating even if they did do this, because the rules were, well, not vague enough. They've had to change the rules. It's a rule that's been added, so there was no rule there to be broken. It's what every F1 team has been doing over the centuries, to find something that's within the rules that's not been clear or written and go for it. Look at what Mercedes did with the DAS system. Look what the W Fuser brought for Ross Brawn and Brawn GP winning that championship. We've lauded it, we've applauded it, and if Red Bull have done it, we've, would have applauded it for what a great system that was. It's been ruled out if it was ever there, and nobody can do that now. Essentially what it was is they're allowed to move brake bias front to back, but the rumour is that they were spreading the pressure at each brakes left to right at each axle, potentially. So if you press down on the right brake more than you do on the left, it'll help pitch your car in that much better in turning. That's not allowed in Formula 1. The brake pressure applied to both brakes on either side should be equal and not just one harder than the other to assist turn in. It's a system that was used in Indy and NASCAR, I believe, before, but it's not allowed in Formula 1. I was watching a podcast, if you watch Red Flag podcast with Gunter Steiner, he was sort of saying, I think it's all a bit rubbish, to be honest. I think what's happened here, really, to clarify one of the rules is someone has probably thought of this idea and the FIA have said that's not allowed, but let's change the rules so that isn't allowed. He's pretty sure that everybody knew that this kind of system wasn't allowed, and no one would go and spend the funds to then have the system outlawed and be sort of clear that you're doing something wrong here. It's probably that someone's come up with the idea, they've sought clarification is what normally happens with the FIA, and then they'll say yay or nay. To put a bit of doubt on that for what Gunter said, we've seen with the Haas though that Mercedes did build this whole system around it and then it got outlawed or stopped for the season after, just to stop teams doing the same thing. So is it always that the case? who knows? But yeah, I think that's just a bit of blowing in the wind, that one, on the whole Red Bull braking scenario. And if they did, well, hats off to them for pulling it off. What could potentially be the race or championship defining part of the season, where they've got, you know, the early runaway and big points for them. You know, well done to them if they did that. Red Bull, Ferrari next, and they've got big upgrades coming. A whole new floor for Zandvoort, and it's crucial for their charge in Monza, isn't it? That's really what they're looking for now. It's the home race, and where they really pull out all the stops to do well, isn't it? There's so much scrutiny on him there, and it really needs to work. A whole new floor to get rid of the bouncing issue that was introduced with the new floor that was there to help them go faster. So they're hopeful that they've come to a solution with this, and if they've not, well, we'll see a couple more races of pain for Ferrari, and yeah, it won't be good reading for Lewis going into that team into next year, is it? We've got issues like this going on. Sticking with Ferrari reserve driver Robert Schwartzman, who currently drives for them in WEC, he is going to be taking the place of Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber team for FP1. He's had a couple of drives in practice, hasn't he, for Ferrari over the last couple of years. It's another young driver test at the Sauber outfit this time. Remember, they've got to get, or each team has got to give a young driver at least 2 sessions over the season to try and give them some practice and give them the leg up to get into Formula 1. And then now we've got the news of the Rwanda Grand Prix. Stefano Domenicali is saying that the potential for them joining the grid is serious. There's a meeting to take place in September, and potentially we could see something concrete. The good news, F1 fans, is that it's not going to be a street circuit. Thank goodness for that. It's rumoured to be on a permanent track if they do go there. Domenicali said it's a serious proposition from Rwanda, but there's still a lot of other things to go into place there. It'll be the first time since 1993 that F1 goes back to Africa. It'll be fantastic to see if they can do that, especially with a black driver on the grid in Lewis Hamilton to go there. I think it'll be a fantastic opportunity and venue for the whole of Africa to see that. I think personally it'll be brilliant. And news that happened over the week, the summer break, something I've not touched on. Andrea Stella has extended his stay at McLaren as team principal. He's done a stellar job there, hasn't he? He's made McLaren great again, stealing the words of Donald Trump. He's actually done a fantastic job at McLaren, hasn't he? Brought back the sort of Ron Dennis days of what we know McLaren to be, race winners. He was, Ron bought this win at all costs sort of attitude, and if you're not winning, you're nothing. And he's kind of brought McLaren not to that level of insane control that Ron had, but it's he's done a fantastic job at that team and actually deserves all the plaudits and credit, and a multi-year deal. There's no exact date or time put on that, probably just to keep him off the eyes of everybody else. But yeah, well done to Andrea Stella on that one. And finally, Sergio Perez will now have a new race engineer for Zandvoort. It's a temporary solution. His current one, Hugh Bird, is due to go on maternity leave. He'll be there at the circuit, but he'll be there just there as a helping guide. Richard Cook, who is currently the performance simulator engineer, and he'll be his temporary engineer for while Hugh Bird goes on leave. It could actually do Perez the world of good. We've seen over the last, I'd say, year, hasn't it, where we've had this slump of Sergio Perez, a new voice in the air, someone to bounce new ideas off. Might actually really work really well for him. He absolutely needs it, and well, wish him luck, Perez, for this weekend. But there we have it. That's Paddock Talk. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment. As always, see you next time.